Ah. Welcome! I'm back. Like I said, I was gonna be back. I promised. Well, I didn't fully promise, but I promised. Kind of. So I'm back again. I've created the ultimate sin. Just waiting for TikTok to stop being a little bitch and actually show the show the live. Show the live, you fucking Muppet. I love using Muppet as an insult, by the way. It's just such a nothing burger of an insult. It feels like you should be mad, but you're just being called a pup, like a Muppet. I'm gonna find out it's like some sort of British slang or something like that later down my years. Like, you were using British slang. Oh no. Cool. Perfect. So let me show you guys what I got so far. So yeah, I'm actually working on a mod myself, by the way. Yes. It's really just a personal mod for myself, realistically. I don't know if I want to release it or not. It's not really exactly the same, because I can't make the models, I can't port in the models. Number one, finding the original models for Dark Cloud is not as easy as I thought it could be, so that's the first problem. Number two, I actually had a problem where I have to figure out how to scale down the weapons to the size for this game, as a lot of the models are fucking ginormous and make all the weapons huge as fuck. I got them to actually be ported into the game, but the problem is that again, the models are just really fucking big. I'm talking like giant weapons. Like, not even like this big, like this weapon big. I'm talking legitimately like half the map size big, because they're just too big for the game. I gotta figure out exactly what the problem is. But as you can see, I've been working on just taking the base model items in the game, like, and trying to do my best to make them as close as a representation as they are to the actual counterpart. Like, this is Chronicle 2. I even worked hard to get the middle line for the beam growing. It's not one for one, but I did my best at what I tried to do with it, and I feel like it worked out really well. On top of that, you know, I've got... This is supposed to be, you know, the tall hammer. And unironically, I think it actually looks really nice. Weirdly enough, it looks super fucking nice on its own, even if it wasn't called Tall Hammer. It just looks like it looks like a really cool hammer skin. honestly, it's just really cool, especially because it's got that little cool fucking print on it that was not intentional. But, I mean, it looks good. Weirdly enough, it looks really good. So I've been working on my own mod, as I said before, because I like dark cloud weapons and I wanted to add them to the game myself. Since no one was really doing that, because I don't think a lot of people that play this probably are in the generation like I am, where dark cloud was a thing. So as you can see, I made a bunch of dark cloud weapons. I just recently added the ruler sword. And yes, they're really strong. I made this is me just testing the grounds and whatnot. Because there's like a whole new system you can make weapons really good, and I'm trying to work on giving them like level systems. Like where you could just go in and get more weapons, aka like, you know, obviously like every weapon has like a level requirement, because you can set level requirements now. So I thought that was pretty cool. So I've been working with it. As you can see here, the mallet needs reworking because, again, it's placeholder. I also made sure that they were set to rare category so you can evolve them into an exotic category, which is the only way for them to actually be enhanced properly. So I'll show off what they basically do, because I've been working really hard and just trying to just have fun with them and just make them fun weapons. They're not meant to be balanced weapons. They're meant to just be fun, referencing the old-fashioned like grind about like adding attachments. Like the idea is that all these extra stats are just attachments that you would add to the dark cloud weapons. They're just kind of there as template holders and just trying to figure out what goes with what. Like example, I need to rework this one, as it's not exactly great. It's a custom like coloring I made myself. It's not great, but it's also supposed to be a level 1 weapon. You know, any character can use it, whatever, whatnot. Obviously, I just set the stats to whatever the fuck for this one, because I'm still just trying to port in everything first before rebalancing them, and that's not that too hard to do. This is my favorite one so far, because it actually came out really good. And yes, they're using the original Dark Cloud textures as well, but this one came out so good. I had to, like, recolor a little bit of it to make it, like, so that the axe blade part was actually axe bladey. But I did make it really nice, and I found the right axe. Even though it's not like the normal original axe, I think it just turned out really well, and it looks pretty good. Because, you know, most battle axes in other games are actually, you know, double-sided battle axes. So I was like, it's not that bad. It actually still looks really good. And it looks so good. It's like one of my favorite designs right now. It just looks so threatening. It's so sharp, and it's so good. Satan's axe kind of got a little weird because the textures just don't work properly. I tried different angles, reworking it a little bit, but this is the one that I chose to stick with. And the reason why is it just comes off as very demonic, you know, because it's supposed to be Satan's axe. So it comes off as, like, really demonic-ish. And, like, really, really, like, unique. It's not the same version as the original Satan's axe for Dark Cloud, but it does look really good. So I like the design, so I kept it. It's the best I can do right now, until I can actually bring in the original models, which I still have to figure out how to get that to work. Because if I can do that, that just solves a lot of problems. But yeah, so far, and one of them I can't show because I'm not at the right level yet. But essentially, that's the hammer weapons. Obviously, I showed Chronicle 2. This is Chronicle 1. This also I had to rework so that it looked a little nicer too. So Chronicle 1, you know, obviously is supposed to be closed, so it doesn't have the open blade on it. Which then Chronicle 2 has the open blade on it, as you can see. I tried to make it as close as representational as possible. To the best of my ability. I could probably add the green line and make it smaller and still actually add the green line here, which is probably what I'm going to do next. I need to find the right blade for this one, but I kept it as this one for now, just because it actually looks kind of sick. It kind of looks sick as fuck, I'm not gonna lie. So for 7th Heaven, I just kept it like this for now. I think I have a sword idea I want to use for it. But I think it looks cool as it is right now. And while this isn't great, this is the best I could do with Aga's blade. So this is Aga's blade. At the meantime. And for bracelets, I decided to go for like an archery thing instead of going for the actual like launching spells, but just because, again, that's just fun as fuck. I don't think all of them are gonna be like that. Some of them will still be staves, but like for like the rock ones, I think this is just fun. I think I'll change this one to go and become, like... It's like a standard magic staff. Because you can set them up to, like, basically be, like, you know, because they're bracelets, so you don't really see them. So, they basically do their own properties and stats and stuff like that. They all come with, like, obviously their standard elemental attack alongside what they do on hit. So, like, I've been working on just building up an arsenal of weapons. You may notice that there are a few of them that I haven't shown off because they're still here. Other than this one, which I can't show because, again, I'm not at the right level. And the Wise Owl Sword is just... I'm still working on figuring out what to do with this one. This is the first one I ported in, trying to get the model, original model, because it's the only model I could fucking find of the Dark Cloud weapons while I was trying to build them. So, knowing that, I tried, but it didn't work out very well. I believe... I haven't tested this one out yet. Oh yeah, I was trying to make this... Dude, that's gonna be so fucking stupidly broken. Boost, 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 boost. Just summoning the Susanoo fists. Susanoo fist! Kinda wanna test that out in the field, I'm not gonna lie. So, like, these are the weapons that I've kind of built up for the meantime. And these ones right here, they're not ready yet. They have to be reworked. Because they're still in the oldest phase, where before we were able to fully customize things. Also, Karma, thank you so much for following on the Tiki-Taki side. Thank you. Same with the Shining Bravado. Both of these are still the old setup, so they don't work as intended. And what I mean by they don't work as intended, they're old. They have the old design for the weapon. So as you can see, they're set to the old design, so they're classified as unarmed, so you get 2 of them for some reason. I don't know why. Because they're supposed to be counted as unarmed. So that's really fucking funny. So I'm still working on, you know, obviously getting them fixed up. So at the moment, that's kind of the plan, is to get them all fixed up. Slowly adding the arsenal of weapons to the pool. And by far, if I had to pick, like, a favorite for, like, how they turned out, it's the battle axe. It just turned out so nice. It looks so good. The battle axe has always been one of my favorite weapon, like, aesthetically looking in Dark Cloud, just because it's such a generic but yet satisfying look. And it actually turned out really well. So I'm very happy with it. So with that being said, I've, like, kind of worked on stuff, and that's kind of what I've been doing, is building these. And you know what's funny? The icons for Dark Cloud actually look really good in this. They work so surprisingly well for this game. They just kind of fit so naturally. And yes, these weapons are severely overpowered right now. I plan to lower the power eventually. And yes, I gave the battle axe the ability to do gashing. So that it causes bleeding damage, which I think is just perfect for the battle axe. That's just really fucking stupidly strong. Now I just gotta go organize it for... Yo! Do 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 do. Fuck your mom. Also, currently they all have the exact same requirement. By the way, what's the requirement? A rock. No, that's not a joke. They literally just require a rock. Perfect. Alright, let's go test that out. I just wanted to do fun stuff, and I thought it was just fun, because it's supposed to be the ultimate weapon for the genie. I'm just saying, it's really fucking broken. Goose, 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 goose. It's meant to be broken. I want all the final weapons of, like, the tier for weaponry to all just be super fucking annoyingly broken for fun. Just seems like a fun idea. There we go. Okay. I think it's just a fun idea. Also, I did go to the boar area, and yes, I actually beat the boar boss at level 20. Without dying even once. can't wait to blow up the boss. Just like, goose, 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 goose. I know I'd be upset. You're like, what the hell is this shit? Ah! Oh no! Looks like I'm trapped in the catacombs. Fuck you! Alright, time to die, asshole. Ah! Be destroyed! You cannot get past my wall of fuck yourself. My wall of go fuck yourself. That's so stupid. Give me that key. This is stupidly overpowered. I'll definitely have to rein that back, but it's so funny. I don't... Ow! How dare you? Get walled! Get walled! Do, do, do. How do you get louder? I don't know how it just keeps getting louder. Ugh. Rawr. You cannot touch this impervious wall of go fuck yourself.
Hello there.
Impervious wall of go fuck yourself! Die! Die! Do, 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 do. Just the impervious walls of go fuck yourself! Hello, welcome, welcome. You cannot get past my wall of go fuck yourself? It's not for the faint of heart. Go fuck yourself. Go fuck yourself. Bring it on. Go fuck yourself. Go fuck yourself. Susanoo fist. Susanoo, Susanoo, Susanoo. Could you imagine Sasuke just spamming Susanoo fists like this? Just... I can't see shit. You know, I never understood the difference between keys. Like, both of the loots are randomized, so... And one of them just has more chests in it. So why would I ever go to the super far one that I just did, right? And down. Can't get past my wall of go fuck yourself. Fucking hate the goddamn spike traps. I think they're stupid. Fuck off. Fuck off with the... Bring it on. Your time is running short. That's what you think. Do 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 do. Brother's health just disappeared. It just went away. It's gone. There's nothing he can do. Where'd you go? Bro, it's just like, help! Ah! I did it! That's what happens when you take a bow and arrow and you use the secondary alternative attack for the bell. The bell is a heavy magic weapon. So a heavy magic weapon being fired at rapid speed like this just goes to just show how strong and stupid that is. It's awesome. What's up? You got treasures that I seek? No. You tell me. Now I'm curious to see if the if this weapon is gonna be fucking mega overpowered for the Grove. Grove Street. That'd just be funny as fuck. Just it's like, ow! Ow! I'm dying! It's like, good. You're a bitch. Ah! Just gonna keep that. And probably just get rid of the rest of that. Except for my weapon. She's mine! You can't have her! Sell, 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 sell. Thank you! Grove Street. No, we're still a few levels away from the other hammer. So yes, I modded these Dark Cloud weapons myself, and yes, they are really strong. Oh, I can go here now. Don't want to do that yet, but... because I'm farming this guy. Ba-ba-da-bop. Woo! Dark Cloud is just one of my favorite games of all time. So adding the Dark Cloud weapons was just something I was really wanting to do, and I've been working on it for like a very long time. The modding scene has just gotten so much better for adding custom content that I'm finally able to do that type of stuff. So here I am just kind of doing it. Because I really want to. Because it's fun. The modding scene is not too complicated. So, I've been having a good time just trying to figure it all out. The only thing that's complicated is the model stuff. That's the only complicated thing. The rest of it is pretty simple. And it used to be a lot harder until we recently got a new update that allows us to use the GLB files. Which just really helps. It's the stuff you can use straight out of, like, the stuff that goes in Blender and stuff like that. So, you could just basically get any already done model and just put it in the game. So, it's really useful for that type of stuff. Oh. Yep. Alright, now get ass blasted. Do. Can't touch this. Nope. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right, get killed. Even the big guys with the massive defense buff got fucking obliterated. It's hilarious. This thing is so overpowered as fuck. If I could somehow make a set quest for certain weapons like this one, where they're clearly overpowered and meant to be. Oh shit. It's the first time I've ever fallen. Boop. Ow. Keep forgetting that thing has a really annoying hitbox. Why do I always forget that some of these things just have... I was actually having a discussion. I actually was on the discussion board on Steam talking about this. Somebody actually had, like, a discussion with me, too. Oh, yeah, the movement speed for all enemies is just really fast. Including yourself, but... your weapons, my weapons are just faster by default because of the stuff I set up for them. So that they're a little bit better. Because you're actually sluggish. And only because my weapons are already super overpowered as fuck. Is if there's any, and I mean any reason for half the shit that we're doing. The enemies got faster, but I've actually talked about this. I'll talk about it a bit later. After we're done with this dungeon. Just because I'm curious about testing this weapon and how strong it is against the main threat that's just really annoying. Because a lot of enemies' casting time has been decreased, and their attack patterns are kind of not suited for that. And I'll talk about it in a second, because I'll stop what I'm doing so I can eat some food, because I have food I want to eat. Just blatantly overpowered as fuck. They just explode. Huh. How did I fuck that jump up? Yep. Yep. Do 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 do. Do-do-do-do-do. Just blowing everything up is just hilarious. Just watching everything deteriorate is just hilarious. It's such an interesting thing, because even this, you know, these enemies are just, you know, able to tank multiple versions of this attack. Moment of truth, baby! Moment of truth. Nope, not even he could take this shit. Put up sturdy for the protection, just put up a few blocks up. Nope. Not even he could take it. Yay! Not even this man could take the fucking brunt of my attack. Wait, what am I doing? I'm right here. No one can take my attack! Hello. What's this? Ah. A much stronger version, but first I need to get all my other... I need to get the gear first. Yo, what's up, buddy? What you want? Well... Carbuncle hat! Oh, that's really good. I'll keep that. The carbuncle ate itself! I hate that so much, but I love it at the same time. The carbuncle ate itself! Sorry. She's mine! You can't have her! Fuck you! Mine! I'll fucking kill you! Let's see... Okay, we're just putting a bunch of stuff away at the moment. There's actually one enemy in the game right now I think that needs to be removed at the moment because it is way too fucking annoying and just absolutely unpredictably bad. It's the, currently it is known as the, I believe, where's this fucking headpiece here? The War Boar. The War Boar is a fucking annoying motherfucker. It's not even like it's hard to parry, it just has a secondary move that makes it impossible to parry, and you have to be 1,000 miles away from it in order to not get hit by it. But they also have a charge move that you can't tell which version are they telegraphing and charging up. You might get the one where they charge at you, or you might get the one where they do a Beyblade. So, with only one animation that shows that they're charging up, I can't tell which one it is, so I have to take a gamble if I should just parry it or I should back off. Most of the time leading you to get hit. And just parry spamming, where you have to spam it. Which is why I have Sturdy. For the auto parrying. So I don't actually have to worry about it. That's my shit. That's not what you want to see. Nor that. Or that. I guess Mana couldn't necessarily hurt. I wasted all my money. Ugh, so expensive. It's way too expensive. I heard people saying that we should rework it too, and I do agree that we need to kind of rework the fucking re-rolling system and just make it so that you could just pick your enchantment at that point. Because re-rolling just, it feels like shit. Every time you're like, oh, we're so close. Wrong. Just wrong. Ah, well. Okay. Let me turn off the music real quick. Sit by the fire. Pop a good old song or something. On the YouTubes. Oh, by the way, yeah, if you sit, you actually heal. If you've had any damage. Okay. One last thing. There we go. Okay. Hello, Slur Lazy Sloth. Welcome, welcome. I'm gonna grab my food, because I want to eat. So I made a discussion board earlier in, about something that I had a gripe with. If that makes sense. So, let me read to you what I had a problem with this game. For a lot of people, I came from the level 25 era of the game. For what that means is that in Atlyss, the maximum level was level 25. An era where the power scaling was kind of all over the place. Enemies were annoying when you were under-leveled or under-geared, and being over-geared meant that you were just blowing meat chunks, right? So, that being said, right, when coming back to the game, I came back to the game when the level 40 cap was turned down to 32. So a lot of the balancing, from my perspective, goes from 25 to 32, not 25 to 40 to 32, where a lot of people seem to have their... It's not as bad. But coming from an era where the game was balanced pretty well to a balanced version that people didn't like as much because it was all over the place, back down to a power level which made it a little easier, it's still insanely awkward to me. It has nothing to do with the main attacking problem. I noticed, so I'll read it as is. I noticed that after coming back to Atlyss, enemies felt really strange. Attack animations / timing were always off sync or weird. I don't know how to explain, so apologies if this comes off as ranty. 60 FPS makes the movement of enemies zip across the map or spam attacks at 1.5 seconds or less, feeling-wise. Early builds of the game, I was doing fine, and enemies felt well telegraphed. Now, I see an enemy, and they're just like... They have, like, a delayed wind-up or a fully glow way before they actually attack. The attack is ready. The mushroom dudes are one that fully confused me. I'll be across the map, and when they wind up, and the elemental spin attack, then boom, they're in my face, and I have before I have time to ready a parry. I've had moments that they go through my said parry as well. It's a rare thing. That one might be a bug. The one where they go through the parry. Golem enemies were not, while not being the worst example, are one of my true pains. When they spam Spire at me, which is a big pillar move that summons a pillar of, like rock spikes at you, I parry the first one, only to be forced to hold, block, or get hit anyways. That has always been a problem, but now it feels worse because of the weird movement / animation speed of enemies. Every enemy I have come across, they are moving at insane speeds, instantly closing the gap or CCing me into hell and back. Wondering if it's tied to frame rate or not sure, but makes timing anything just a bit more frustrating. The Crest Grove Stone boss is my biggest notice of this problem. He spams moves almost every second. I was forced to run a build with only 3 warrior moves, Rage, Stomp, and Shockwave, could just remove Shockwave, to be fair. The rest are Sturdy, Curtis, and Recovery, as I lose so much HP past my good defense, making it going for a tank style, even though I have Bulwark and Reflect to help. This one boss, even if I'm multiple levels above, spams me out non-stop. With ads coming to help, makes him even more feel even worse. From a slow but heavy-hitting boss to a fast heavy-hitting boss, really feels like no enemy has a place. They feel like they are the same enemy with different attacks. The old problem of the enemies grouping up still is a problem, but just not as bad. In turn, created a new problem. When they do herd together, they move so fast that you can't really do much about the spam. I actually have a new example of this, as the new boar enemy, that warhead boar that I talked about. When they group up, it is impossible. Or the cannon boars, which have cannons on their heads. If they group up and they're desynced, if they don't shoot at the same time or they shoot one after another, you're royally fucked. You will get hit at least by one of them or all of them, and it will blow away your health, making it impossible to deal with them at times, unless you just spam them the fuck out from a distance, or wait for your cooldowns like Sturdy, which goes on a really annoyingly long cooldown. So I'm running around the map waiting for that so that I can then go hit my targets. Does that make sense? Enemies grouping up still is a problem, but not as bad. In turn, created a new problem when they do herd together, blah, 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 you know. And I brought up an example of three golem spammed Spire at me in a count of 10 times total. So they would throw Spires at me, and I just could not get through them because they were merged together, so the Spires were in a perfect, annoying cone of absolute pain, which can suck. Maybe it's just me, though, and my game is just fucked up or something. I've learned to deal with relearn these new patterns and found workarounds. I thought I mentioned it as trying to grind gear again is now just either not worth it or really, really unfun. The vanilla weapons feel like they just can't keep up. Heavy weapons feel sluggish and not as powerful. Ranged weapons are kind of sluggish too. Greatsword jump attack feels wrong and hard to control. New classes removing skills you used to get, and the feel of the game just being off. Side note, I heard that skills, weapons, and such were rebalanced or nerfed due to the PvP, which I think is not a great, if true. PvP should not be your focus on balance changes to PvE co-op, to a PvP co-op game, or PvE co-op game that has PvP elements. It can really muddy the waters. PvP players will always find a way to either exploit a game's mechanic or find the most consistent build to win no matter what you do. Hard to balance PvP without damaging PvE, and the same with the opposite. All in all, what I'm saying is something is off and I can't pin it, but as I play for longer, the more I notice the cracks. I love what the dev has done, and please take your time. It's not easy to do what you do, and I respect all your hard work. I just wanted to share my thoughts on the recent changes, wondering if anyone else has had similar problems. And then somebody asked me, like, was your cap level 25? And I was like, yep, pretty much. So they go into detail about what happened throughout the time when I was missing from action in the game, which was 2 notable changes for major patches. The level 40 overhaul patch and the level 32 de-discovery patch. The level 40 patch was basically a massively major patch that what it did was that it basically changed the engine by retooling it from the ground up, as there were many key systems. So basically, many key systems are basically worked on the ground up and transformed into something new to make it better. They smoothed out the jagged edges thing and worked on a bunch of other stuff. It was a controversial patch at the time due to some fundamental changes that the game were in place. Many systems were also overhauled completely, including how skills worked. Skills no longer level up, because that's what you used to do. They used to level up and they would get stronger over time. Instead, having a set cost and having a singular level of power. This resulted in the characters being less powerful than they were before. The Mystic, in particular, had the design changed to be more of a methodical playstyle and having much slower spell casting than before. Parry windows for the fighter were reduced. Stuns for parries were also reduced, which is why a lot of times it feels like you can never get a hit in because of, like, again, that sluggish feeling with the hammer is why I stopped using the hammer very often, because it just did not... I was left wide open too often. Many other changes, it's basically hard to list all of them. Much of the enemies have been adjusted with the initial release of the level 40 overhaul patch, attempting to dial back the difficulty somewhat, but there was also conflict between players on how difficult the game should be, many craving for a more difficult experience, while others lamented the changes. The level 32 D-Discovery patch was much more balanced and hammered out than the rough feeling of the overhaul. The level cap was reduced down to reflect the current content. Mining was added, and generally things started to stabilize a bit as players gotten more used to the new way of things. But the game is still on a harder experience overall than it had been during the level 25 era, or rather, the end game stuff is harder. And then I talked to that person and stated, I mean, that's handy-dandy and good to know, but the difficulty isn't the problem. I noticed that the system in place makes the game feel a bit harder. Like, I noticed that. After playing longer and refighting a few bosses, the animation speed / movement speed was still very strange. Still beat bosses exactly the same way as before, just forced to run very specific moves to still do what I did before. I think the problem I have is that the enemies are still using old movesets from when the game was slower. Power overall changed to make it harder, but bosses / enemies never got reworked to fit the current style. This is why I think it feels weird. Moves like knockback, massive AoEs, group attacks, etc. are meant for a slower gameplay style, and when trying to rebalance everything, you miss the most important part, the enemies. Giving enemies faster cast time doesn't increase the difficulty fairly, it artificially inflates it. Every old enemy in the game is exactly the same as it was before, but if you speed them up with a Final Fantasy X haste spell. It comes off as very unnatural and leads to frustration. It's a lot to rework every enemy in the game when rebalancing, but if you're trying to make things harder, speeding things up / making them tankier, bullet spongy, or giving them just raw damage numbers isn't a great look. Making things harder to fight or lowering your ability to fight doesn't make things challenging, it makes things feel cheap and unfair. I respect the dev and their amazing work, because it's a very difficult thing. It's not easy to make a game. People underestimate just how difficult, especially as a solo dev, how hard it is to do all this stuff. That's why I say take their time. The current state of the game feels like taking too much of what others envisioned for the game rather than what they envisioned for the game. Trying too hard to please everyone. It's still a solid game and very fun, but the new system really hurts the overall experience. And then I thanked them for the insight. It really helped. So when I talked about it, I play a lot of Warrior because I'm a very tanky-ish player. I know that makes sense, right? I definitely check your... This person basically goes, you better, you know, definitely check your build. Make sure you're using the best gear you can find at your level. Check your stat allocation and make sure most of your points are in strength, or try multiplayer if you're having issues with Crescent Grove. It's a hard dungeon to do at the lowest recommended level, and having other players helps. See, I don't play, and nor do I want to play multiplayer just at random. Number one, it's not fun to join a random person's game. Just, again, solo experience is fine. This person basically was trying to, like, analyze my build and show Wick what was wrong. See, Sturdy is a massively powerful ability that I don't think most people actually pay attention to, as Sturdy is a perfectly good countermeasure to where you need to heal. Because you'll auto-parry everything, and it'll give you time to heal when you're struggling to heal in an awkward predicament. Like, they basically give, like, this whole setup, right? Talking about... I don't think Shockwave is a bad skill. I think that a lot of the skills that are available, it just feels sluggish. Another person was basically like, I think you just got rusty, and I would argue I have not. I mean, you guys just, like, using my own modded weapons, like, shows that, like, when weapons are just naturally overly like, these are basically weapons that are just as strong as level 25 era. Does that make sense? These are basically just level 25 based weapons from back in the day when 25 was the highest level, and it just goes to show that nothing really changed. When you give the weapons the maximum stats that they had back then, rebuffing them back to a power level that they were back in the day, it shows that nothing fundamentally changed. The problem is that everything got beefier, faster, and more annoying. During a particular stream, you guys got to see me running basic vanilla weapons against the Colossus, and how many times did I die during that Colossus fight? I may have been under-leveled for it, but I picked my level 24 character, my vanilla character, and still struggled to fight against that target. Does that make sense? I still struggled with the exact same thing in the exact same way that I did last time. And that really goes to show that there's a fundamental problem with the base game. I don't think it's that just rusty, because if it was just rust, then all of my gripes about the weird animations would have fallen off at some point. But no matter how many times I go through it, it's the same problem. And new problems arose going to new areas, like the Warhead Boars being very just overly tedious to deal with. They have two sets of moves that are only telegraphed by just happen circumstance. They don't telegraph which animation they're gonna go for. And you have to understand that basically how you really necessarily tell, and this is how you actually tell, is by where you are when they're about to full charge you. So for example, if I'm at a distance where they can't reach me with their Beyblade attack, they will automatically go for a charge. So you can bait only charges, but that's also bad. Does it make sense? So if you try to go in for killing them as fast as fucking possible, you'll get hit by their Beyblade attack, and their headpiece is ginormous. It's half the map size of their body. Like, its majority of their body is that headpiece, making it very hard to deal with them in a particular manner without basically hitting them maybe like once or twice, maybe a few times if you can get enough damage in, and right as the charge meter is they're fully about to get ready to charge, book it half a mile and just run. Wait for them to finish, repeat, rinse, repeat. Nothing changes. The strategy that I used never changed from the earliest day of the base game. Every enemy, even new enemies, all have the same strategy in mind. Jump in, beat them up, jump out when I can't deal with their attack, jump in, repeat, rinse, finish. Does it make sense? The problem with the current state of the game has nothing to do with the balance of, like, the current changes. A lot of the current changes have nothing to do with me being rusty because, again, there's not a lot to learn in this game. I don't think it's rustiness. Because, again, I instantly picked up the game, and I was able to still play exactly the same way that I did before. And I was still able to do exactly what I did, but there was just newer issues. Enemies were faster. Enemies' wind-up were stronger than what I originally remembered. And it got fundamentally worse. I think that the real issue really is that there is parts of the game. If you don't have those issues, that doesn't mean that those issues don't exist. Not everybody will have the same experience when it comes to these things, right? Maybe you're just used to it. Maybe you have better hand-eye coordination. I don't know. Maybe you got lucky. I don't know what it is that made it so that you didn't have to go through what maybe somebody else did. But there's an average consensus that there's a problem. Not everybody is in agreement about what exactly is the problem, but there is a known issue with the game and why it feels so strange. And I think that when I'm referring to that, right, is that there is a lot of missing context. You know what I mean? There's, like, separate problems that go into account about all these things. The whole system feels just completely outpaced. Nothing feels like it's still there. I still think that the problem is that enemies and their design haven't adapted properly. When you just buff an enemy to be faster and cast faster, you don't fundamentally... You don't fundamentally see the major issue with, like, the design philosophy, right? The problem with, like, trying to force something is that a lot of it felt like it feels like there's just something awkward about it. Because again, it's not that it's complicatedly difficult. I think a lot of people that might be in the discussion board when I was talking about this they think that I'm like saying that it's harder. Never mentioned that it was harder. I mentioned that it felt weird. It wasn't impossible to beat. I struggled at first because I just was not used to the enemies just rapid firing attacks. That's not what they do. That's not what they did. Now they just feel like they're sped up. They're not telegraphing the new animations, they're just sped up animations. That's all it is. And that's why it felt awkward. Everything feels underpowered while all enemies feel overpowered when they're not actually overpowered. Because again, even without my modded weapons and stuff like that, when I added Sturdy, I blew that Colossus boss fight really easily with just the base vanilla equipment, because the strategy didn't change. Wail on him as hard as I can and just tank as much as I can. Heal when I need to heal. Rapidly move the fuck on. Nothing really changed. Like, at all. And I think that's where the drawing line came from. Where I think that the majority of my issues come from is nothing truly changed. It just feels like it wanted to change, but didn't actually change. Does that make sense? Like, I honestly just don't see the fundamental issue, like, being changed. It's, again, like I said, it wasn't the worst thing in the world. It's not that difficult. Like I said, I found and fixed my issue. I fixed the patterns and found workarounds to prevent it, but I really it took a cost. A lot of the abilities to me don't feel as naturally, like, useful anymore. I'm not just gonna experiment with abilities. I need to run certain abilities, maximize my gear into such a high degree that it makes no sense when you didn't need to do that before. Now you need to overpower your maximum gear to the maximum potential of maximization of maximizing just to be able to play the game at the fundamental pace you were back then. That doesn't make any sense. That doesn't work. That's a fundamentally flawed game design. That's just bad game design. If you take something that you had before and it works really well, but then you rework it all over the place to try to make it harder, and the way you make it harder is that everything you do by default is worse. Does that make sense? Worse. For you to actually go through, you're not going to have an easy time truly feeling like you're making any progress. The thing about skill points is that you could invest the skill points into upgrading something to its maximum on your own. And I think that really worked really well because it allowed you to build up versus build down. Now, builds just feel generic and simplistic while needing to be more complicated for the more complicated enemy structure. Because the enemy structure is speed and high power. This speed and high power for all the enemies just doesn't work because it creates a fundamentally flawed run in, run out, die, run in, run out, die, run in. And the problem is, there's no consequence for dying to a boss. The boss will slowly regenerate health, but if you immediately book it back to the boss fight, you could just keep wailing on him and wailing on him and wailing on him until eventually he dies. So the problem is, the boss itself is just poorly designed. Enemies are poorly designed because the new system doesn't complement them. It devalues them. It takes away from their uniqueness and makes them all about speed. They're all Speedy Gonzalez motherfuckers, and they just don't function. When they could be functioning in a fundamentally better way, work really well, and instead they work against the grain, against the gameplay mechanics. Spire was a move that a lot of these column guys would, cast out, but you would see it coming, so if you got hit by it, it was your fault for getting, overextending. But now, they cast it so fast that if you run in, you're just gonna have to be prepared to hit a parry. Knowing that the second you walk in, you gotta be prepared to enter parry mode. Or be ready to block most attacks. And this creates a really bad dynamic that some of these moves were literally designed to cast slower than to be casted faster. Does that make sense? What are we talking about? Oh, I'm talking about Atlyss. I really like this game, but I came in from an era called the level 25 cap era, which was a very simpler era of the game, when the highest cap for your level was 25. And, enemies were, for me, very well telegraphed, very fun to fight against. But later down the road, they went up to level 40, and everything got reworked and restructured from the ground up to create a better experience. But it created a lot of diversity and just was very controversial due to a lot of changes not being exactly well received. But then, in the more recent patch, turned it down to level 32 and rediscovery or de-discovery, causing it to be more suited towards a proper level based off the content, which works really well. But a lot of the enemies still function poorly, as a lot of the changes were designed with them being speedier and faster and casting faster. So enemies that have a lot of knockback, they cast consistently. a lot of enemies that have huge hitboxes attack more frequently. This creates a very bad problem because a lot of enemies that are supposed to be super powerful, like Stone Colossus, the boss fight, or Stone Golems, for example, were meant to be slow but powerful wind-up hitters that just could survive multiple hits so that they had a chance to hit you. Now they can do that, and they're fast, and they cast faster, causing spam to happen, making it hard to actually hit your target without just preemptively casting the ability to parry. Which is why I run sturdy, to keep me alive. Because I was talking basically, the enemies just, they were not updated or reworked to fit to the current style that they were going for, which was faster combat on enemies. They're still designed around old, slow, methodical gameplay, where every enemy had like their own unique thing that you had to focus on. Now they're all exactly the same. Very fast, hard-hitting, very annoying, but with like different elements that they use. From earth to poison to nature to fire to ice, etc. This is basically the only fundamental difference any of them have. Because they're all fast. Carbuncles are fast. Stone Golems are fast. Poison Dogs are fast. The Colossus is fast. A level 15 jump followed by a level 8 level drop. Now these updates came, you know, much later. The level 40 update was a lot later, like earlier, in terms of like level 25, and then they jumped to 40 for the level cap alongside adding a bunch of new content. But that level 40 basically made things like harder somehow. I think what the thing was that it made the game much more annoying for people because it was very harder. Because enemies had to be buffed to work around level 40 damage because they can, you know, obviously level sync to you based on how many players are there, right? So, in order to fix the problem about how difficult it was, they reined it back by dropping the levels down and reworking a few things here and there to try to balance things out. Because they realized they made a mistake with the level 40 structure, realizing that level 40 is too high of a level for the amount of content that exists. So they dropped it to 32 as a way to be a better compensation for the actual levels of things that are already available to you, which makes sense, but they never fixed the mobs properly to fit to either level 40 or level 32. Which creates a bad dynamic because they're still level 25 base enemies in terms of everything that we've ever known about them. But imagine if you casted Final Fantasy X Haste on them. That weird janky move like da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. That's how they move. They move rapidly, but use attacks that were designed with a slower gameplay feel. That just creates a dynamic problem. At least that's what I noticed. And that's what I mean, is that that's the kind of stuff that I noticed, is that the gameplay feels off because things are not working as they should. Because if you don't, when you're making a game, you need to understand that you should be trying to, if you're going to rebalance the structure of like, you know, of your stuff, right? If you're gonna rebalance, you know, enemies, and rebalance, you know, things to be a little bit more complicated, a little bit more difficult, then you need to be prepared to also update your mobs. I mean, imagine if, like, World of Warcraft updated the difficulty of like their game by, you know, speeding up the in which the animations of the enemies come out. Could you imagine how annoying that would be for those players? You know, and then they were like, well, that's too much. And then they reined it back. And they dropped your levels. And they reworked all of the abilities that you have to be one-time upgrade abilities. And so, if you had a fire spell as a mage, that would be the only fire spell you would have. It wouldn't be able to be upgraded to do more damage over time for getting stronger as you get stronger. You would only get a limited handful of things. You know, like, if your firebolt spell was just, like, 30% damage, and it couldn't be upgraded all the way to 50% damage, essentially. To rein in the power you have to make it so that it feels harder. That's the problem with the game, is that everything is just... they're overcompensating. There's just so much, there's just so much missing. And it seems like a lot of people either are really insistent on, like, over-defending it, or just being like, you're just rusty. It's like, yeah, I was rusty at first, a little bit, but the game's not too complicated. I played in the level 25 era, and I still was able to do a lot. The game didn't change to fit to a higher level standard. It didn't upgrade its, like, mechanics. It downgraded its mechanics, not upgraded them. They're all downgraded to make it harder, to make it more streamlined without giving the proper buffs required to make these tools better for a different style. It's the same skill set, just spread apart differently. And the only thing that got updated was the speed in which certain actions happen. Thus, it feels unnatural to me. And I don't think people got that. I think a lot of people that were arguing with me in the forums didn't understand what I was talking about. It wasn't difficult. The Colossus fight's not hard. With enough brute force, I can get through it very easily. And I think that's the funny part, right? With enough brute force, I could get through that exact area with zero problems. Well, other than dying multiple times and just running in and refighting the guy whose health pool hasn't fully updated back to full HP and slowly whittling his health down. Over and over and over again until he just dies. It's not hard. It's frustratingly annoying when essentially the game is artificially more difficult, not genuinely more difficult. It just creates a new tedious problem. If that makes sense. And I love this game. And I still do. Oh, he's it. It kind of sounds like the Legend of Zelda auto-tracking problem with the monsters with shields. Having to wait for their opening to imitate difficulty, but just making the game feel more frustrating. Yeah, Ocarina of Time. That's actually the biggest thing I think I actually talked about with Ocarina of Time is when you, again, artificial difficulty inflation is basically doing something that is deemed more difficult, like harder, but it's not actually harder because if you removed that part about them, they wouldn't be harder. Which is why I prefer Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, is because it actually is harder. I actually have to learn something. I can knock a shield off of an opponent with multiple different avenues, and it requires skill to understand those things and evolve as a player to get better at the game. And then they added Master Mode and completely ruined that entire formula because it was quote-unquote too easy because people found out how to do insane things. It's like, But yeah, it really does have, like, a problem. I think. Like, with Ocarina of Time, the shield problem was that every enemy had, like, a block ability. Like, a lot of enemies had block abilities. And those block abilities basically were spammed. You couldn't hit them unless they were about to hit you, and thus were giving you a small opening to hit them. But then you had to wait again and bait them into doing it again to hit them again. And then it was just really, really slow. So, the difficulty was trying to have patience. Ocarina of Time was about having a god-iron will of patience to deal with a lot of the threats. It wasn't about actually challenging the player and their knowledge of different patterns of enemies. They all just had a block. And those blocks were just wait for them to attack when you saw that attack opening, hit them for a jab or hit them for a slice or something. Because you couldn't even hit them for, like, bombs, arrows, etc. You just had to accept it. You know? It was just a ride or die thing. You just had to be there, you just had to accept it, and then just slowly develop. Ocarina of Time had plenty of issues, and I feel like this game is going through similar issues where it doesn't know what it wants to do with its balance changes to make enemies feel threatening. Because normally, creating a build, players just coming up with builds to just blow meat chunks off their enemies. It's just quite confusing, you know? Like how certain enemies like these ones, right? You see what I'm talking about, this enemy, right? I will try to bait them into doing it again. See that right there? How fast they zip? How they instantly close that gap before you have any time to structurally move. So if I'm across the map, they can instantly get across the map sometimes. Sometimes they'll just instantly dash forward, and there is a new mechanic that's designed with that in mind. But I think that just creates a big frustrating issue. Or when they do that rapid dashing thing, all it does is just create a bigger problem where you're moving at a rapid pace trying to, like, you know... Which, by the way, that's another problem. So, you see that, like, little force field thing that's going around them? That one was supposed to be magic-orientated, so they were supposed to just have higher magic damage. But they also had higher defense, which made no sense. And so, there's no difference between each ability. They just get one buff different than the other, most likely. I feel it's the same problem in Warframe with damage, attenuations. But we have people who love to tune their frames to the max and nuke everything. I mean, the game is a power fantasy, but also made a lot of the boss enemies one-taps. So they added damage, attenuations. I get why they did it, but it's more annoying since it's still possible to brute force through the damage. Exactly. And here it's the same way. You can brute force your way through a lot of the quote-unquote artificial challenge. With enough patience, you can break through pretty much anything. It's not hard to destroy enemies in the blink of an eye. You know? Even with the best gear in the world, you can still do that exact thing. Getting the best armor means absolute jack diddly squat here. As if every enemy is just destroyed in the same exact manner. Why would I need to revive myself when I can just run to the boss immediately? There's no real punishment for, like, failing to do so. As you can see, that rapid thing that they're doing. And there's a little bit of stop delay. So that tiny little stop delay used to not exist. It was added to, like, create that artificial challenge that I was saying, by lowering your animation speed. And it's even worse on two-handed weapons. Let me tell you, my favorite weapon was two-handed. On top of that, parrying doesn't stun as often anymore as it used to. It used to be a guaranteed stun if you can cast the parry. See look how fast that is. You see what I was talking about there? That is insanely fast. That ability has multiple hitboxes. Not just one, but multiple hitboxes. See if I can bait him to... That thing has several hitboxes. Its initial hitbox, and then several hitboxes afterwards. And it comes out so fast. It's super fast how fast that motherfucker legitimately comes out. So if you're already in vicinity, let's say I'm like right here, and he's like right here, and I'm fighting him, right? Or I'm doing my spin dash, and he just happens to throw out a spire the second I dash in, I'm getting hit by that regardless. Normally, it'd be like a slow pull up, and I would see it happen, and be able to instantly be like, oh, I should back off. Be like, oh, dodge back in. I could do that to get out of it. Multiple different things I could do to get out of it, knowing he's about to hit a spire. Then book it, and then as soon as the spire pillar is active, I can jump back in a little bit later as soon as the pillar explodes, and then fight him, and then instantly close the gap and hit him for a few hits. It might even kill him before he's able to activate a second spire or throw his hands again, because he was a slower but high damaging attacking opponent. Which gave me the ability to learn his pattern and kind of like learn what I needed to do to defeat him. Now that shit comes out so fast, I just have to wait to see if it's gonna happen. And if I get hit by it, I get hit by it at that point. And it's frustrating when you lose 40, 50% of your HP because you just can't see a telegraphed attack. Because it just comes out. To the point that I've created my own weapons to counterbalance the very janky gameplay. Like, all enemies have higher cast rates. They used to be not this fast. So every enemy has like a faster catch rate. Like their attacks. So as you can see, when there's so many enemies on the screen now, you don't have time to actually appropriately hit them or like come up with a strategy. You just have to get lucky to get the right hit fast enough, kill at least one or two of them before they do it. Because if you don't, and you're not 1v1ing an enemy, you basically are gonna be outnumbered and swamped by random amounts of spam. You get choked out, essentially. So I have to be more agile and just be at a massive distance away in order to deal with some of the overall things going on. It just doesn't create a very fundamentally nice feeling to it. I've gotten used to it, and that's what a lot of players say. It's like, we just got used to it. Once you get used to it, it's not that big a deal. And I think that's the problem. You shouldn't get used to a problem. It should be discussed being like, hey, what can we do to, you know, what can be done to make this feel more balanced, fair? Like, look how slow the attack, how fast they summon it, and then how much of a delay there is. I got hit by 2 of them because the first one, you see how, like, you see what I'm talking about, right? So she charges up an attack and it's faster, but then I have to get hit by it anyways, right? I hit the parry, and I still got hit by it, by the way. So I still get hit by the attack, and I have to time it very specifically in order to hit this. It's really bad. It creates a dynamic issue where a lot of times when you think you've parried the attack, you didn't parry it because you didn't do it the micro-split second you were supposed to, versus having an open window to, like, learn the pattern. They're all just really fast now. See that, like, gap charge thing that they do? They didn't used to have that gap charge. So now they just rush towards you because it's like a new mechanic that rushes them towards you, which can instantly close the gap, and their attack animations are so delayed that it'll activate and only activate when they're already on top of me, making it hard to basically work around them. So it just creates a new problem, and it just keeps creating headache after headache. The amount of times I have to, like, basically dodge, parry, 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 dodge, parry, parry, dodge, parry, dodge, parry, parry, dodge is insane. To the point, in order to cheese this boss fight, I had to create a weapon so fundamentally broken just to cheese this guy. Just to cheese him. Because unfortunately, one of the biggest issues about the Colossus fight is that he's fast as fuck. You don't get to see it because I just don't want to deal with this bullshit. And it's not like he's hard. Again, he's a pretty simple boss when you get down to it. But a lot of enemies are just so fast now that it makes it hard to properly telegraph what they're doing and, like, having the reaction speed. Like, the reaction speed is almost literally just the right amount for the human reaction time to make that split-second decision. I was like, I got it. But I don't know, it just feels off. I'm not really nostalgic about the 25, you know, the level 25 era, but it felt like the most thought out version of enemies. Enemies now just feel tedious to deal with and almost like I don't want to deal with them. If I see an enemy with a massive buff thing on them, I just don't care to deal with their bullshit. Hit them for a really broken attack and move the hell on. Like, enemies just skip dashing towards me is always gonna be a really annoying thing. To the point I've created weapons to not deal with bullshit. Literally created my own weapon. I mean, they're based off of Dark Cloud because I want to do something fun, and this weapon wasn't really designed with fighting these guys. It just turned out this way. But it helps. A lot. I mean, you saw how strong this weapon is, and how much damage it took with the strongest weapon I have in my arsenal to kill that one guy. Now try doing that with vanilla weapons in general, and you're just gonna have a bad time. Vanilla weapons and abilities are just not gonna cut it. Half the time they all feel useless as hell. You see what I'm talking about? Look how many times they shot that, by the way. Did you see how many balls reset? They're supposed to have one dead trap that they set up and then charge you. But they were able to spam that multiple times. To the point that they reset their original trap. That's how unnatural it looks. They were resetting themselves. They were resetting their own detrimental trap. Over and over again. It didn't create a challenge, it just, like, made it easier, unironically, and that's why people might find it easier. Because, like, it is. It's simpler to deal with, but for, like, probably the level 40 people, it's probably simpler. But to me, it's not only like challenging-ish. It's a mediocre as fuck. With all these animations coming out, and, like, getting hit by an attack that I just randomly get hit by, just happens circumstance, attacks going through walls, etc. It just feels... What normally would have been like, oh, that was weird, because of, like, you know, it wouldn't happen so frequently, into, it happens so often that when it does happen, it's annoying because it happens too often. Enemies in my path line I can't see, enemies behind me, enemies in front of me. It's exacerbated by the speed in which enemies are now attacking. It's bad. It's just bad. I'm gonna say it as it is. It's bad. And I really do hope that the dev takes to what I say, and I hope other people as well, to heart. It needs to be changed. It needs change. Without change, you're just gonna suffer. You're just gonna create a big old mess where it's gonna feel awkward, and it's definitely going to be awkward. And the final product is gonna be dampened by the overall aspects of what is available. Like, and I mean just overall, it's just gonna feel like doo-doo butt. You're gonna sit there, you're gonna be like, alright, it's okay. You know, again, the gameplay is still fun. I still really enjoy it. I mean, I'm playing it right now. I wouldn't be playing it if I didn't actually enjoy it. And I don't, you know, if I don't like a game, I'm just not gonna fucking play it. That's a fact. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention something to Razzle. I should mention that. I wanted to recommend Razzle and the Ren group, essentially, their group, since they're very focus-centric on their collabs. I think there's a game called Are We There Yet? And I think it would be a perfect game for them, for their chaotic nature. I like recommending people games to try out and stuff like that for their communities. Share the love and share the knowledge of all the fun collaboration games, just upcoming games and stuff like that for people to try. Share the knowledge. Share the power. Enjoy the food. Need a game that slows Razzle down? I don't know. I don't think anything can slow her down. I mean, unless they came out with another Cyberpunk game. I don't think anything's gonna slow her down for games in general. Or if somebody made like a massive Cyberpunk mod that like added super huge amounts of content. I mean, that's the same way with me in Skyrim though. With like the Vigilant mod and the Grimoire mod. As the Grimoire WAD was pretty good. They're based off Dark Souls stuff into Skyrim, and with a few mods, you can create like your own unique experience. Driftwood, huh? I don't remember that one. I remember that game. Probably look into it. They haven't touched Dark Side in a while. Maybe they're just busy. I mean, I remember a while, like a long while back, I tried to, planned out like a VR chat thing with Vanessa, but then that fell short because I don't know, we just stopped talking. I think she either got busy or something else. I don't fucking know. I'm not gonna speculate shit. I'm not. That was weird. I'm not. I was trying to think of a YouTuber who does shit like that. I can't think of any. XQC? Pokimane? I'm fucking... Cinder? You see how he just spammed that really powerful AoE move twice in a row? Yeah, he could do that like several times. And then it stopped because they're now doing their collab podcast on Sundays when she used to do VR chat. It was the Sloth downhill skateboarding game that's chill. Oh, that's pretty cool. Yeah, I think I just stopped talking to Vanessa in general. I don't really know why. I tried messaging several times, but it's been 2 months since I've gotten a message back, and I just said, okay. They're probably busy. I mean, they got a lot of new things on their plate. I mean, the podcast that I know that they're doing, probably other things, daily life things and whatnot. So I said, all right, I'll just let them message if they ever do want to message, and just left it as is. For VR chat stuff, is what it is, you know. Things fall through, and that's perfectly normal, and that's perfectly fine. Everybody's got their own life, and we all do our own things. I'm not gonna lambast people for being like, how dare you fucking not collaborate with me, you bitch. I'll be like, what? Nah, it's fine. Do, do, do. So, I don't know, I've always been like, I don't know. It's fine. I don't know if it was something I said. I don't know if it was just existence. I don't know if it was just life. I don't know. I've learned with that past friend group, as I said plenty of times, to just let it go. Let shit go. I don't need to know everything. Does it fill me with anxiety and worry and doubt? Absolutely, but should I care so hard that it affects my own life? Nah, fuck that. It ain't worth it. Let people be people, and let them do what they want to do. Everybody's different. We all handle things differently. And if something happens, something happens. If nothing happened and it's just busy, then it's just life. Sometimes I go like several months without talking to a friend. It's pretty normal. I got a bunch of shit to sell. So I just hope and I've asked if they were doing okay, because that was one of the biggest concerns I had, and they seem to be doing just fine. So that's all that matters to me. That they were doing okay, and it seems like they are, and that's good. Because that legitimately is the only thing I was mainly concerned with. Actually, was that the better cape? Ah, fuck, that was the better cape, wasn't it? Ah, shit, I need to buy that back. Can I buy that back? Thank you. They don't present as vindictive. What's nice about Reddit as a whole is that they don't present as vindictive. I'd never think that they would be. They don't seem like the type of people that would be like that. From my personal experience, they seem like genuine people, and whenever something happens, it's just whatevers. Things happen. People, like, you know, grow, we change, we do things, if that makes sense. And I still talk with, like, you know, I still talk with people. You know, Razzle, I still talk with Razzle. Stuff like that. People move, you know. I've always said, like, things aren't always meant to last, and that's perfectly fine, and you just have to be okay with it, you know? If something isn't meant to last, then it's not meant to last. If somebody had a problem, and that's the case, then that's the case, and that's perfectly normal, and there's nothing you can do about it. And I'm perfectly okay with that. That doesn't mean that I don't wish things were different. I mean, like, again, I'd like answers. You know, I think anybody would, realistically. But in the end, if I don't get those answers, am I gonna be upset? Nah, fuck that. Who cares? Will I talk about it because my brain won't shut up because I'm an anxious motherfucker? Absolutely. Trauma lives in your head for the rest of your life, and you can't get rid of it, no matter how hard you fucking try. It'll keep fucking bringing its goddamn motherfucking ugly ass head and be like, ha ha ha, what's up, fucker? And I'm like, you bitch! But yeah, I really enjoy this game. And honestly, if you've never played it, I recommend it. It's pretty fun, and the mod scene's great. I'm currently playing as like a Brazen Axe, the Pokemon. And I like to think that I gave up the magic and mage powers to become like a warrior. Being like, fuck that shit, I'm gonna become a warrior. Here I am with my cool scarred eye, because I'm epic. It's a cruel survival instinct. I mean, talking about it allows me to just be able to get the anxiety out of my head. It'd be like, if I talk about it, then I'll see it as not as big a deal. It's not as bad. Up. At least that's how I look at it. Yes, this is real. Yo, what's up? I'm Toader. I'm a big fan of water levels. How about you? Man, I hate them. Oof. Well, good luck. For you, there aren't any water levels here. Can I use your head real quick? I'm under Hello, I am under the water. It's always fun to see every modded experience always add some fucking bullshit Mario 64 thing into it. Every time. Give them the opportunity, they'll do it. Without fail. I guarantee you, they will. I'll prepare the cannon for you. Oh, I guess the cannons aren't actually, sorry about that. Music! Yeah. Near. In between my crotch is my penis. Yahoo! It's my fucking one of my favorite Game Grumps quotes. It's like when Aaron was doing this bit. It's like he's playing a Mario game. He's like, in between my crotch is my penis. I was like, what? Dun, 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 dun. Ow. Whoa, I'm better than Mario. I can climb up here without any issues. Do 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 do. Oh, I fucking stabbed the shit out of him. He died. He's like, what was that? Ah! Ah! Yeah, da! Also, I do want to say that I do really care for, like, all of the, you know, all three of them. I think they're all really great people. No matter what, I still think they're great people. That's not gonna change. I don't know, unless one of them turns out to be, like, a P. Diddy, then absolutely things change almost immediately, but, you know, that's not gonna happen. I did hear about something that actually did happen in that server, that somebody was in that server or something like that. I think I vaguely saw it. I even, like, investigated their tweet that led to that investigation that they were cut from the community. And I was like, ugh. That's nasty. Also, fucking... I'm gonna stab that motherfucker. What? That's fucking awful. Weirdos slip through the cracks, I guess. Everybody's gonna have one. I suppose with that person, the AA art they did was obsessive. Ugh. All I know is that shit was awful. Never in my days, man. Never in my days. Nasty. I forget how much this game is. God, I forgot what the original soundtrack sounded like. Oh, it's $10. It's $10. This game is literally just $10. It's both. You can actually play multiplayer with people. Difficulty scales, enemies scale as long as they're 6 and above. Enemies scale to how many players actually exist in a lobby. I believe it's up to 4 people, I think? I don't remember. But it is multiplayer. You can actually play with multiple people. I used to play this game with a bunch of ex-friends. I introduced this game to them, too. We all really loved playing it. I introduced it to a recent friend of... not really a recent friend. I've known him for a very long time. But recently introduced him to this game. And the modded scene... And I made these mods right here myself. The Dark Cloud weapons, these are my mods. I mean, they got my name in them. Messina Magnus Dark Cloud weapons. So I worked on these myself. Really just trying to figure out what to make them look nice. You can invite people to parties, so you can actually have them in a party, stuff like that. Like, look how cool my battle axe is! I'm slowly gonna add the entire arsenal of Dark Cloud weapons. There's an... fish people. You can also make your character incredibly fucking fat, by the way. That is a thing. Oh yeah! On the Fansly, though, I did upload, photos of me in a, nurse outfit. Like a sexy nurse outfit. So there's that. For the Fansly, since I didn't do anything for a very long time. Just checking a few things I got to check. My nose is itchy. Stop itching! Be gone, itchies! Itching is stopped. Okay. Just checking a few apps that I needed to check. I recommend this game to people if you like a little, like, kind of like simpler RPG, like, game that you can play. The modding scene is really nice. There's tons of mods available, and the modding scene is getting better. Because back in the day with weapons, we couldn't really, give them our own stats. But now we can, which makes it really fun to just create weapons, and making the Dark Cloud weapons has always been something I really like doing. So, having them is nice. They also added guns recently, which is pretty funny. I love playing with mods. Gives you more customizations, things, and such. These are my mods. There's tons of different mods. Tons and tons of stuff. The game has gotten so popular in terms of, like, the community, for probably the furry community particularly, is that they have RP servers now. And I believe these are RuneScape weapons? Yeah, it's from old school RuneScape. So it's pretty cool to see. The modding community is pretty funny. I'm currently running, a mixture of Wild Arms 3 music and, Golden Sun music. I miss the old dragon log sword aesthetic. Back. I remember playing RuneScape for the first time because a friend introduced it to me on the school computer. And, like, I remember tales and whispers about the mad cow. But mad cow disease. And there's like this whole spread about the mad cow disease, that people were afraid that it could affect humans. Dear God. I remember this dude dropping a bunch of gear by mistake and I stole it. I did not give it back. It was some pretty high level gear too. It was like, yoink. Mine now. I remember some bozo trying to, like, steal my account by getting me to, like, spill what my password is, saying it wasn't cool. And I said, I don't care. Why do you care if it's cool or not? It's mine. I'm like, what are you, stupid? Then he got mad at me. I'm like, then what's your password, idiot? And then he told me his password, and then I stole his account. Not only did I steal his account, I deleted it because I was an asshole. He got in an alt account and got really mad at me because it had all this good shit on it. And I said, well, that's what you get for trying to scam people, you fucking bitch. Fucking cringe-ass motherfucker. Out here looking goofy as fuck. God, old school RuneScape was funny. Idiot. Up. Well, mad cows can. It's a misfolding of the proteins to create prawns. Sheep can get their own version. It is transferred to humans. Razzle is afraid of it, but doesn't know how it works and thinks cooking things well done destroys the prawns. I don't think that's how that works. I think it's just a contaminated cow at that point, isn't it? It would just be like a contaminated cow, you shouldn't eat that meat. Which is why they got rid of all those cows that had the problem, wasn't it? Because they had to get rid of the cows, which created a huge problem. And people were just freaking out, like way overly obsessively freaking out about it. All I remember is that we learned about it a little bit better. Yeah, the whole herd would be called at that point because it's a big risk at that point. You wouldn't know which ones were infected and weren't infected, so they'd all have to go. That's what I thought. Because there's like a mad cow boss you can find by, you know, killing I think it's like killing a bunch of cows or something. There's like a cow portal that would lead you to the mad cow, like the mad cow world. Defeat the mad cow. I remember learning about that during the height of, like, the mad cow disease thing. I always thought they were associated with one another. I don't know if they actually are or not. Or if I'm hallucinating all of that. Yeah. Dun, 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 dun. Take that! The rumor of the roots emulated to, ow. God, these guys fire these things so much faster than they used to. It's hard to be actually able to get in on my target. And then there are just some attacks that are just winding up so slow. Ha! I think that's a rumor in an old school RuneScape that to emulate the evil chicken. So I remember so many things. It's all vague because I haven't played RuneScape in like a bajillion years. Ow, fucking... No. Maybe that's where that stuff was coming from. Good Christ almighty! Did you see how many times I got knocked back into the thing just to fucking have to continue holding down the button so I didn't take damage? Because the animation cast time was so high. It was like... and it just kept going. Because it had a lingering effect. And that lingering effect has a knockback effect attached to it for some fucking reason. You'd think that they would have one, not all three of them, fused into one. Oh my god damn. You get one, not all of them. What the hell? Lingering effect, knockback, and like... Hell, I bet it even casts poison alongside too, since that is a poison-based enemy. That's crazy. Hell. Are you afraid? Afraid of what? Oh, it does cast poison. Wow, and it does way too much damage. Oh, good. Now parrying an attack also causes you to take knockback. So what is the point of the parry now? If it literally doesn't solve any of the fundamental issues it used to. There we go. Damn. I really do. Even though I get frustrated from time to time with this game, I still really enjoy it. Like, I still have fun playing it. There's not a lot of dungeons, but I want to try to make my own maps so to add my own content and stuff like that. I would love to add, like, some stuff. Spawn in enemies, maybe create my own dungeons with their own, like, unique little side stories you could do. That'd be really fun. I need to learn how to build maps to do that. I think that would be fun. Little extra side content for people to do. Goodbye. He was perfect, damn you! I don't give a fuck. I did it. You wanna see something crazy? I got all these emotes. Victory! You know what's the craziest emote I have is this one. This is called Present. I don't know why this is an emote. This is a modded emote, by the way. This is for your sex RPing. It's the Jacko pose, is what that is. They called it presenting, and I'm like... That's how I feel. That's how I feel about that. What? Very funny. You! Give me quest. Yes! Level 22, baby. Three skill points, huh? I'm gonna need 6 total for this one. Gonna have to start eventually building up that. Bum ba ba da ba. Would you take these, please? Thank you. Submissive and breedable pose? Yes. Yes. Oh, good. What do I need to add to this hat to make it a good hat? What do I need on this? Rage Boar. Got it. I got 3 of them. I don't know what to do with that. That, those are penis heads. I don't know what to do with penis heads at this point. What do you want, penis head? What do you want from me? No. God damn it, you just went back to the other one. We now have 110 defense. That's not bad, that's not bad. I need to hold on to my skill points so I can get the last thing. I need reflect. Do you have a quest for me? I would like to do this quest again. Thank you. Basically, it's just running back and forth doing the same dungeon over and over again at the moment. Because one of the major parts about this game is you gotta grind for gear. And that gear, because you're gonna need to top up your gear. Unfortunately, back in the day, you didn't need to worry too much about gear. Gear was always, like, a big component. But it wasn't the biggest component. If that made sense. It was a big contributor, but there was, like, extra stuff you needed to do. And could do. Hey, how's it going? Anything? Oh, really? The pot house is open. Where's all the drugs, ma'am? We know you have the pot. Hand it over. So you know, if somebody refers to like weed or like it shit like as, we know you have the pot. If they say that type of shit, you know they have never done drugs before. You know they've never done that shit before. Have you had the roach? Do you partake in the doobie? Is that a weed? That's just how you know somebody just doesn't do the drugs. They just don't know what they're talking about. I always find it funny as fuck, though. Wow, 110 defense is all I needed to really bank off of my shit, huh? I want to take damage to see how much damage. Okay, so these, well, they are magic. That's magic. So to be fair, okay, yeah. Bitch. Oh, there. There's two of you now? Yep, having this much defense is exactly what I needed to survive all the damage. Now I have, with that 110 defense, I'm just really strong. My magic defense isn't great, but that's fine. I'm not really caring about magic all that much. Magic usually is supposed to be dodgeable. Sometimes. A key! Perfect. That's the first one. Man, I love this game. They have too much. I just have way too much fun. And, like, honestly, modding this game, like, and making your own mods is not that super complicated. But making maps probably will be a little bit more complicated. Making weapons is pretty simple, like, simplistic now. So that's why I made Dark Cloud weapons, because I really love them. You can even import your own models easier now. I just need to figure out how to do that. Basically, I just need to change the scaling. These weapons are just ginormous. So they need to be rescaled to actually fit towards the model. Just choke spamming the fuck out of them with power. All the power is mine. Ah! I hope everybody had a happy Halloween. Or if their Halloween's just getting started. You know, hope everybody has a good time. God, I love fucking stuff. It's too good. You know, I just realized that my TikTok chat has not been up in a while. And I am worried that a bunch of people have started talking, and I have not seen them in a while. Because I've been so fixated on the game that I forgot to bring up the fucking TikTok chat. I was like, shit. And I can't bring it up right now. Okay, now I can. Classified Chicken Nugget 99, thank you so much for following on the TikTok side. An official Grand Zeno, thank you for following on the TikTok side. Thank you. Thank you. Things. Ah, illusionary stone. Nice. I somehow dodged the split second. I didn't even see that one coming. It came out so fast. I legitimately was just free dodging something else. That one I saw. She just did not want to walk in there. She's like, I don't want to... Dude. Hell yeah. I did it. I did a thing. It's my wife. She's mine! Back off! We're gonna need to turn our Berserker armor into Guardian armor. That's kind of the step that we need to take. But Guardian armor stuff is very hard to achieve. It's a very rare drop, so I have to farm that guy. Because it's the one thing I hate about, I think Lively just gave me health? Keep the Lively on for now. Oh, I'm out of money again. Always run out of fucking money. Yeah, Lively just gave me more HP. More standard amounts of HP. Okay. I'm gonna sit here. Right in the open flame. Okay. I think it's been a good chance. a good amount of time. I'm gonna go finish up making some more mods, basically, because I have to get out and in the game multiple times. So I'm gonna go do that. I just realized I've been sinking in my chair this whole time. It's like... I'm gonna go do that. I'm gonna go create some more of my mod. Because I want to start working on the pole arm weapons at some point. But I need to finish up the swords and then eventually finish up all the hammer weapons as well. So I want to start with the swords and then finish up because there's a lot of swords. And then eventually we'll get to the point where we can, maybe I'll release the mod, maybe I won't, I don't know, who knows. Anyways, I think it's a good time, because I'm also getting kind of eepy. So thank you so much for stopping by. I will see all of you lovely people tomorrow. And happy Halloween. And good luck on your No Nut November. Good luck.